Hi, and welcome to the recording of 7 Reasons Why Small Businesses Stay Small and What to Do About It. The content I'm about to share with you today comes from the book of the same title, so make sure you contact us to get that small ebook, The No Bullshit Approach to Business. It's created to help small business owners like you just progress in business and stop hitting that glass ceiling. So this event is all about taking notes and then getting us to help you, because what we're encouraging you to do, hence why we do this in such a short workshop, is to get you to pick one topic and then book a one-to-one call with us where we can go into much more detail on the topic of your choice. So after the live presentations, we'll always email these books out to all attendees. So make sure you email us to get your copy. Simple as that. Okay, let's get started. Enjoy the presentation. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. It's a great quote from Henry Ford. And to me, it's a very, very powerful business quote because everything that we do in business is around mindset, right? And of course, there's no guarantees in business. You want a guarantee by a toaster, but mindset is really what drives us from a busy business owner to a successful entrepreneur. Mindset is what takes us on that journey. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. So just want to be clear on this presentation because it's going to be too much. It won't work. Even just present just 7 tips, as relevant as they all are, and despite doing this in less than half an hour, it's just too much. Over 95% of people attending these workshops and listening to this recording will do absolutely nothing, zero. And if you do nothing, we achieve nothing. So like I said at the start, the challenge for you is to pick one topic, just one topic from this presentation, then contact us, book a one-to-one session, and then we can cover that one topic in more detail. And that's free, by the way. Okay, so let's get started. 30 minutes. 7 reasons why small businesses stay small and what to do about it. Number one really is we've been conditioned for far too long about setting huge numbers of goals. And if we set the goals and achieve them, we progress, obviously. If we set the goals and we don't do them, we don't progress, obviously. But let's look at the numbers, because the numbers the numbers surprised me when I saw them. If you set 2 or 3 really high performance goals, there's a 97% chance that you're going to complete those goals. Now, I said there was no guarantees, what a guarantee by a toaster, but this is as close as you get to guarantee. 97% achieve their goals. If you start to get a little bit more ambitious and set somewhere between 4 and 10 goals, not so good. 25 to 30% is all you're going to achieve on completion of those goals. Not quite so good, is it? And if you get really ambitious, you've got tons of goals here. You maybe got them all written down, they're on the wall. Fantastic, it looks good. But if you set between 11 and 20 high performance goals, you've got a 1% chance of achieving those goals. So let's just be clear on the number of goals we want to set. Yes, set SMART goals. Yes, write them down, but it misses the point. If you've got 11 clearly written SMART goals and then do nothing, it's not so smart now, is it? So there's number one. In business, less can be more. How many goals do you set? Let's move on to number two. Number two on our 7 reasons is all about knowing your key numbers. All about knowing your key numbers. Because we say to every business owner we work with, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And this may surprise you as well. If we talk about key numbers, it's not about turnover and profit, as important as they are, obviously, because turnover and profit are outcomes. They are outcomes of other activities, other numbers within your business. Let me explain. So the key numbers, not turnover, not profit, they are the outcomes. The key numbers that you need to know are what influences those ones. So that's going to start off with marketing reach, the number of inquiries made, the qualified leads that's created, the number of estimates you provide, which then goes on to the number of clients you win. And from the clients you win, what's their average sale value? How many times a year are they coming and doing business with you? Because all that together, that's what gives you the turnover. You also need to know things like the cost of acquisition. We call it CAC and LTV. CAC is the cost of acquisition. LTV is the lifetime value. And from the two of them, then we can work out your CAC to LTV ratio. If you don't know what your cost of acquisition is, you're operating blind when it comes to marketing. So the list goes on. There are 20 key numbers you should know. Turnover and profit are just two of them. Start writing down right now what the key numbers you need to know are. That's number two. It's about knowing your numbers, knowing your key numbers. Robert Kiyosaki has a great quote. He's not the bike guy, that was Kawasaki. Robert Kiyosaki said, it's not about how much money you can make, it's about how much money you can keep. And Robert wrote a fantastic book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you've got kids, you want to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, possibly today. It's not about how much money you can make, it's about how much money you can keep. Number three in our reasons why small businesses stay small is because you are the business. We're not getting the balance right between working in a business and working on a business, because it's a very fine line. Now, business gurus all over the world will tell us you should never work in your business. And for 99% of business owners, that is simply not practical. It's not necessarily wrong, it's just not practical. Working in the business is needed because it creates revenue today, it puts money in the bank today. But working on your business, working on yourself as well, well, guess what? That creates more money, more revenue, more cash in the bank tomorrow. So the reason a lot of businesses don't progress is because the business owner is stuck working in the business and not working enough on it. We need to get the balance right, right? If you're working in the business constantly, chances are you've got a job and it's maybe not a particularly good paying one. The analogy I use all the time for this is think of a ship. I said ship. And if you're working in the business, you're down in the engine room, keeping the engine running, creating steam, keeping the propellers turning, and keeping your ship going. Right? That's fine. Needs to be done. But you've also got to come up into the wheelhouse, because you've got to work with your team and you've got to steer your ship. Because guess what? There's icebergs out there. So that's why I use that analogy. Get the balance right between working in and working on your business. Number four, hey, it's always going to be there, isn't it? The use of time. Now, business owners and entrepreneurs look at time very, very differently. So you'll maybe have heard this before and possibly even said this before. Maybe not you, maybe somebody you know. I don't have time for invest whatever. It's the biggest myth in business. Why? Because it's bullshit. You do have time. So here's some hard-hitting facts on time. Number one, you will never in your life ever have enough time to do everything you want to do. You will have enough time to do everything you need to do. That's an absolute fact. So it's about balancing need from want. Also, stop thinking about time as hours, minutes, and seconds. Time for a business owner is not really hours, minutes, and seconds. It's about priority, focus, and action. And the difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur and the way they look at time is simply this. A business owner, you and I, will sacrifice our time to save money. And you'll hear yourself saying things like, I'll just do it myself and save a buck or two. That's because you're sacrificing your time to save money. An entrepreneur will flip that. They will sacrifice their money to save time, because they know that money is basically infinite. Time is not. They can earn more money. They cannot earn more time. So an entrepreneur will sacrifice their money to save time. Think about that. What are you sacrificing? Time or money? Now, there's no such thing as time management. What? There's no such thing as time management. It is the most powerful force in the universe. We can't go forward, we can't go back, we can't pause it. We all get exactly the same, 1,440 minutes. So if we can't manage time, then we can only manage ourselves. So what do you do with your 1,440 minutes? And how does that compare to Richard Branson? Oops, Elon Musk. Think about that. Now, here's some tips for you to help you get more from your day. Use to-do lists. It's not a shopping list, it's things you're going to do today. And guess what? It's things you need to do today. Not what you want to do, but what you need to do. Create a not to do list. This is stuff I'm just not going to get distracted by today. Default diaries are great for blocking out chunks of time. When you're moving and transitioning from working in your business to working on it, use a default diary, block out Wednesday afternoon as you're working on the business day. It works fantastically well. Do a time audit. Time audit will scare you because you're breaking your entire day, including all your free time. It's a 24-hour audit you do, and you do that for a fortnight. It'll scare you when you actually see how much time you're wasting and how little time you're focusing on important things. That could include family and friends. Use a time tracker such as Toggle. It's free, absolutely brilliant. And be sure to give your tasks start times and stop times, and make sure that Parkinson's law doesn't cause havoc with your diary. What's Parkinson's law? Parkinson's law states that a job will take however long you give it, however long you allow it, however long you permit it. So if you've got a 3-hour gap in your diary and you've got a 2-hour task, guess how long that will take? Imagine that happening 3 or 4 times a day. So here's a couple of simple but highly effective ways to get more time. Now, Miles Davis tells us time isn't the main thing, it's the only thing. Number 5 of our reasons why small businesses stay small and what to do about it is our plan. The plan is in our head. Most business owners don't have a written plan. It's about 80 odd % of business owners don't have a written plan. They think it's in their head. And I can't even begin to think of a more scarier place to be. So if that percentage of, and there's various different statistics. So let's say for argument's sake, it's about 80%. So around 80% of business owners don't have a written plan. And then when asked, they actually genuinely believe the plan is in their head. Have you noticed though in business that it can be tough? Sometimes really tough. There's some days you want to take on the world and go global. And there's other days you just want to chuck it. And it can often be the same day. So if you're on that emotional roller coaster, how the hell can you have a plan in your head that works? The simple answer is you can't. End of. So how can you and your team help with the journey if they don't know the destination? And the reason you want to get that plan out and on paper and on the wall is when you've got these massive emotional highs, you just want to temper that enthusiasm a wee bit. And then you've got those days where you are a little bit low, your plan is there to lift you. Simple as that. So without a written plan, you're on a highway with no signs. In fact, possibly even on a highway to hell. Just saying. Number 6 in the 7 reasons why small businesses stay small, what to do about it, is you need systems and processes. Every business needs systems and processes. Even if the business is just you, a growing, scalable business needs robust systems and processes. End of, no argument. Yet most businesses fail to put in place those adequate systems and processes. And they are the foundation for every business to build on. And today, with low-cost CRM packages, there's absolutely no excuse for not being able to have systems and processes that work in your business. So what's the difference between a system and a process? A system, quite simply, is a group of elements that work together to form a unified whole, a unified outcome, while the process is a series of actions that lead to that specific result. So, an example, you have a tray that all the quotes and estimates to be done go into. You've got a tray on the shelf and all the systems and quotes go into that. That's the system. Do the quotes at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. every day. That's the process. Enter all the quotes into the CRM system. That's the process. Systems do not, indeed, systems cannot be complicated. And if you think about it, a simple checklist is a system. Michael Gerber nails this in a fantastic quote. Let the systems run the business and let the people run the systems. And that came from Michael Gerber, who wrote that amazing book, The E-Myth Revisited. Read that book, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Every single business owner that reads that book comes away saying, oh my God, that's me. That book was written for me. It's a game changer. Number 7, the final one, is not having the right team in place. It was always going to be there, wasn't it? There's 2 issues here. Number 1 is not having the right people in your team, and then number 2 is not empowering them enough. That's crazy, right? So here are the common issues that we see with small businesses when they start to build their winning team. The first thing is, let's use a construction example. They've got a good joiner, they've got a great joiner, but that person might be a poor manager. So the temptation to recruit from within, I can see why it's done, but you only recruit from within only if it's the right person. That person can be very good at their job and not very good, in fact, can be a poor manager or leader. And then you end up losing that person. You don't lose a bad manager, you lose a very good employee. So be very mindful of recruiting from within, only if it's the right person. Training is key, training is vital. Yet most businesses do it without any structure at all, because guess what? We're back to it, we don't have time. Really? The example I would use for this actually is the RAF, right? We have, with a shadow of a doubt, the best pilots in the world ever. If you're American, sorry. And the reason that happens is because they have got an unbelievable, continuous and structured training pattern, right? Replicate that in your business, right? Training is absolute key. The more you invest in training, the more you're going to get out your team. The less you invest in training, the more dysfunctional your team's going to be. And that's an absolute fact. We see it all the time. The other thing is that owners don't delegate enough because no one does it better than you. Yeah, right. I've heard that one before. We don't delegate enough. We've got to delegate more, because when we delegate the simpler or smaller tasks, it leaves us free as business owners to start working on the big stuff that grows the business. And then the real skill, the real drive forward is supporting risk taking. Now, I'm not talking about giving your team the bank account heading off to the casino. We're not talking that kind of risks, but what we're talking about is empowering them to make and implement their own decisions, and then supporting that if it's not done quite as exactly as it should be, because that's how you build confidence, that's how you build trust, right? The worst thing you can do in business, the absolute worst thing you can do in business with your team, is micromanage or openly criticize when someone doesn't get it quite right. Because then what happens again, when they go to make another decision, they'll just go, oh shit, man, I got chewed the last time for that. And then you'll just end up having a business where, guess what, you see things like, I got to do everything here myself. Can nobody here think for themselves? Well, actually can, but it's you as the business owner that's got to support and encourage that. And finally, when it comes to recruitment, recruit on attitude every single time. Do not recruit on skill, recruit on attitude first, and then look at skill. And everyone in business goes, yeah, that's right, absolutely. And then when you start to recruit, they default back to go with the skill first. It'll catch out every single time. When it comes to recruitment, recruit on attitude over skill every time. And Richard reminds us, train people so that they can, but treat them well so that they won't. Richard Branson. And that has been the 7 reasons why small businesses stay small, but now you know what to do about it. So that has been a pretty fast paced 7 reasons why small businesses stay small, and now you know what to do about it. And like I said at the start, the content comes from the book of the same title, which in itself comes from our Business Growth Academy. The Business Growth Academy is a 3-month business growth course that for many in construction and trades is actually fully funded. That means free. And as I said already, there's been far too much already on this presentation. Select one topic you want to explore further, give us a call, drop us an email, we'll get a call booked in, half an hour, whatever suits you, and we'll really dive into that area you want to explore further and give you some loads of hints and tips. No obligation, it's free of charge. So now you've got 4 choices. Number 1, you can actually pretend you're going to do something, but in reality, 99% won't. That's fine, that's what you want to do. I won't tell. Number 2, you're just going to do absolutely nothing, and you actually get bonus points for your honesty. Number 3, book a one-to-one call with me or one of the coaches. sub to your choice and email that over to you, and we'll get started. Or you could just say, you know what, I'm going to go for it. Let's do the Business Growth Academy and stop being a small business. So I hope that helps. Be sure to email us and get a copy of the ebook, because there's lots of exercises in that as well. It's free of charge, and I can guarantee you you'll get some golden nuggets from that. I hope you found that helpful. If you have, please tell us. Please share it as well. We always welcome feedback. Thanks for listening.